And we are back. I apologize for the extended break here, for the extended delay. It was unintentional, but unfortunately we did end up missing out on game number 1. It was played out. It was a long macro game as well. I was watching over on the Portuguese stream and it was amazing. Honestly, it was a lot. It looked beautiful. It went all the way to the late game. It was on Oceanborn between these two players, and we saw something very interesting, and we'll get into it as we get into our game number 2. Of course, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura in our very first qualifying match of the qualifier in this best of 5. We have the Canadian Terran player. He has been looking impressive throughout the entire night, but he is down in this series. It is Jason. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have a player leading the series 1-0. The Blue Protoss player. It is XingMing. And Xing did something very interesting. So Jason actually set up for, I believe it was a 2-base all-in. It was a 2-base all-in on Oceanborn, and he had done quite a lot of damage early on as well. He had forced his way across the map, killed the 3rd base, but he couldn't quite break the natural because Xing had rushed into Tempest. He went for a Sky Toss rush, and he was able to hold on to his natural. Eventually, he got his 3rd, his 4th. We ended up in a 200 max out supply army game between these two players, and it was, yeah, it went the distance. It went all the way to the end, and of course, Xing with the Sky Toss army did just snowball out of control. Jason tried amassing Vikings as well as Marines, and alas, he just could not break his opponent in the end. He was overcome in the late game. Again, after, in a way, a failed all-in. But we'll see if Jason can recover. We'll see if he can do a little bit more here. As for now, we have a Rack Expand economic opener out of Jason. Going to be an economic opener here to begin with. As across the map, oh, is going to be throwing down a bunker. So far unscattered by Xing. He has no idea what's going on. Bunker is looking to complete, and the Reaper is going to be making its way across the map. The way that this works is with the bunker finishing up, the Reaper will maintain control of the mineral line, which means Xing will be forced to mine from a single base for quite some time until the bunker is dealt with, until the Reaper is dealt with. So again, it is a strong way to get ahead economically here as a Terran player. The bunker is done. Reaper takes a hit, but we should be able to get to the safety of the bunker in time. And of course, make sure that no mining is going on here at the natural base. Behind this Stargate opener from Xing. Interesting. I'm uncertain as to the openers in the previous game. I wasn't able to see the early game, unfortunately. But regardless, we do have that Stargate on the way. Should be for Oracle, should be for Phoenixes, but we'll see if we get into Oracle production instead. Again, talking a little bit more about the players, I'm very unfamiliar with Xing. I did notice that Xing has been playing recently in the last couple of months in online amateur events. But again, Xing is a very fresh face to me, so I'm very excited to see how they can perform here against some of the more established pro players and established personalities in the scene. So now the shield battery is done, the units come in, and we should be getting a salvage on this bunker. Oh, so far, good control out of... Oh, my papi. Good control out of Jason, barely keeping the SCV alive, forcing the overcharge in the end. Good control, but the SCV finally does go down. And finally, we will force a salvage on this bunker. Oh, it's going to be close. Meanwhile, the Reapers, they manage to avoid the army. They slip into the main base to get a full scout. They get eyes not just on the Stargate, but also on the morphing in Oracle. So now Jason knows he has to prepare himself back at home. He gets cleaned up. Back at home, he is taking a more defensive advantage. Defensive position, I should say, as the Oracle gets in, but doesn't get any damage done. We have an Oracle. We have Marines. We have a second... Widowmine is what I meant to say. We have a Widowmine, 2 Widowmines in position. The Oracle does end up making its way into the mineral line, though. Gets 1, gets 2 SCVs, and gets a 3rd towards the end. Oh, no! But he takes a mine to the face. 3 SCVs, not ideal. Not what we wanted to see out of an Oracle. Want to see 4, 5, 6, up to 7 workers to have it pay for itself. 3, not good enough. Second Oracle is going to be able to take down a Widowmine at least. We push in towards that natural base. The Viking has arrived. and Xing is going to be forced back. Also, I meant to say, because we jumped into game number 2, predictions will not be open. We're already a game in, we already started the series, so no predictions here for this qualifying match. But if we manage to find ourselves in another fresh qualifying match, then we can open up predictions then. Regardless, this is, of course, the final series for these players. They've made their way this far, and they are looking to go even further. Well, the Viking is going to shut down the second Oracle, and this just has not been worth it. You can see here 2 Oracles for 5 SCVs. One of them was across the map, so really 2 Oracles for 4 SCVs, not worth it at all here for Xing. Behind this, he's working towards Blink. He's shifting gears, not making any Phoenixes. Blink will be his way to gain map control. Additional gateways are on the way. And a 3rd base as well. So again, with these Blink Stalkers, Xing is just going to be maintaining map control here, containing his opponents, and Jason has been very aggressive on 2 bases. We've been seeing a lot of 2-base all-ins out of him, and he's building up his tank count. I wonder if he intends to move out once again in a committed fashion, or if he does throw down a 3rd CC instead. We have options, Papi. We do have options. Now, Stalker's going to be containing his opponent. They do not get on top of the tank. They take a couple of shots to the face and 1 Stalker goes down. Behind this, we are committing to a gateway composition. It is Stalkers with charge lots as well. This is a risky maneuver, more of a swarm toss style. Essentially, Xing is delaying splash damage, delaying Colossus, delaying Archons, delaying Storm, Disruptors, what have you, all in favor of a mass gateway composition. Instead, we do now have a robot on the way, so I imagine we're going to be heading in that direction of a robotic surveying Colossus, but we'll see how Xing pieces this all together. Oof. As the army of Jason finally does move out. As he moves out, we should be getting a 3rd CC on location, as we don't have a 3rd CC yet. He's just leading the charge for the rest of his army. The tanks, they do move out. Boys, are they going to be pulled alongside this? +1 attack is about to finish up. We are on Golden Ore, but there it is. There's that 3rd CC in the main. So we are not all in. We get across the map. We scan ahead of time. We see the massive Zealot army. And I don't think we can push into this. That's a lot of Zealots. Yeah, we back off. I was about to say that this kind of swarm toss army, you want to fight on the field. You want to fight on your terms, on your side of the map even. But they struggle to push into these entrenched positions, these fortified locations. Speaking of being fortified, that's a lot of tanks, that's a lot of mines. And Jason, he is not turning back, he is rotating around instead. Looking for a better angle of attack, but again, this is still going to be a tough way to push in. Good start though. 2, 3 Zealots go down. The sentries are exposed. Good force fields though, but a hard pickup, saving the majority of that army. The Stalkers, they come in from behind. They take down one of those tanks, but regardless, a good position nonetheless nonetheless here for Jason. As he's breaking his way through. And that 1 tank putting in a lot of work. We still have plenty of mines as well. The shots, they go off. Another overcharges pop. Xing is holding. He is holding on. Is it Xing? Is it? Okay, XingMing. Okay, Xing. Xing is holding. I appreciate it, baby. I appreciate it. As the mines are slowly rolling on forward here. Mine shots are going to be going off. It's just too much. GG gets called, and Jason ties up the series 1-1. GG. Again, really good positioning with those tanks, really good positioning with the mines as well. And it almost felt in a way like the force fields were working against Xing. But again, thank you for letting us know how to pronounce it. I wasn't sure if it was Xing or Xing. We got there. Yeah, Jason was able to just a really well executed attack from our Terran player there, and Xing just barely could not keep up with it. Again, we mentioned earlier that when you're going for this charge lot heavy composition, you want to have a surround. You want to be able to collapse on that army to close the distance and get on some of those tanks. But alas, was something that that Xing could not do, could not get on. And with that, we have a tied up series. We have a back and forth, and really, that's all we care about. That's all we want. a back and forth here between these players. Well, I mean, I won an ace match, and I also won a repetition of what happened in game 1. Like, I saw some Sky Toss Papi against Terran, and that's a bit of a rarity. You don't get to see that too often. Not anymore. Gibbs, Papi, Gibbs. Right, how is your ramen inventory holding up? It's holding up. It's holding well. Holding well. It's a year supply of ramen, Papi. We're fine. We're good. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the purple Terran player, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. He's quite a juggernaut. He's also a Jason. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. Kinda looking to fight back here, looking to put a point on the board and to even take a lead in this series. It is XingMing. And here we go. Probe is being sent out again. A pretty standard opener for the time being. Likewise, Jason back at home getting into a double gas opener. Okay, so Jason is going to be mixing things up. As a reminder, in the previous game, Jason did go for a gate... Sorry, almost said gate expand. Did go for a rack expand. He went for a much more economic opener, but here this time, he is going to be looking to be more aggressive with this second gas. Guys are prioritizing the gases being mining, and this should lead into a faster factory. This could also lead into a one base all-in, depending on how committed we wish to be. So it's going to be on Xing to be able to react and respond in kind with what Jason is up to. But now just being a little bit annoying, tasing away at said depot. But the big depot is done. Factory is thrown down. I believe the factory is out of range of any unit here at the wall. So even if Xing does come in with an adept later on and does try to hug the wall, won't be able to see what is coming up next behind it. Xing's just getting ready for his own opener. Again, gate expand into a cyber core. Everything looking as it should from the Protoss. And Jason should be expanding behind this. The Reaper is looking for the probe, and the Reaper will come across the worker, will shut it down. Probe will fall back at home. Once again, it's going to be a Stargate opener, winding it back. If you remember in the last game, this was just for Oracles, and Xing's Oracles were lackluster. That's another reason as to why things snowballed out of control. If you remember, it was a double Oracle opener, and it ended with Xing killing 4 SCVs. 4 SCVs for 2 Oracles, or even for 1 Oracle, is just not worth it. So just a really, just unfortunately, an investment that never really paid off. Meanwhile, my god, this CC is finally thrown down. We have a starport on the way behind this, and Jason is moving out with his initial Hellion. Okay, so he built up towards 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion. This is enough to bust into a mineral line and harass and even get on top of some of those workers. We'll see if Jason can make his way through these adepts. For now, though, unable to. For now, the adepts do stand strong. Jason behind this working towards a Cyclone Marines. This should be for a medevac drop as well, as the starport is done. And no, before the medevac, we go for a Okay, there we go. I was like, what? It is going to be a medevac first. I mean, the Viking would be decent against the initial Oracles, and we do have the first Oracle hit in the field. They are a good way to shut it down. Interesting. As we go for a Stargate opener, this time we make 1 Oracle. We don't go up to 2, so Xing is aware that, again, there was a bit of an overinvestment in the previous game and an investment that just did not pay off, and he's going straight into a Robo behind this. I'm feeling Colossi, but we'll see. As the Oracle has arrived, but the Cyclone is here to meet it. It does get a lock on. Ooh. But the Oracle will escape, getting a tag on the medevac of all things. Very important tag. And we even have a Void Ray on the way. Okay, so Xing is a little bit paranoid. We typically don't make Void Rays in this matchup unless we feel like we're under threat. Unless the Protoss player feels very, very vulnerable to the army of Jason. We have very limited economy. We're working with 1 gateway, so Void Rays, you know, we make what we can get. And it is going to be scattered by Jason. Behind this, we have the Immortal, we have the Robotics Bay, and this is very similar to how Xing was playing in Game 1, where Xing was just kind of rushing into Colossus and rushing into Skytoss behind it. I'm curious if he's going to do the same, if we see, you know, a Fleet Beacon momentarily to get into that Skytoss composition. There it is! Oh my god. I was half joking, Papi, but yeah, there's that Fleet Beacon, there's the Stargate. So this is what we didn't get to cast it, but this is what happened in Game 1, where Xing almost died to a 2-base all-in, but rushed into Tempest and barely survived from that 2-base all-in, and he was able to eventually max out with Skytoss, and he got the win. That is how Xing won Game 1. So we're getting a very greedy style, because Xing doesn't have an army, doesn't have any production. This is all he has. 3 Adepts, a Zealot, an Immortal, a Colossus, oh god, a Void Ray that does get hunted down as well. Good juggling here with that tank. Does keep it safe, does keep it sound. Jason gonna be pushing on forward, but oh my god, barely keeps that tank alive. Oh, he wants the tank, and he will get it. Solid snipe from that Immortal. The overcharge is popped, and the Immortal will stay alive, will not go down. Xing is holding, and there it is. 2 Tempests are on the way, just like the previous game. We are rushing into Tempest with Colossus. Very greedy play style, very little army to work with, but it is enough to hold. Jason has to back off, and now Jason is in a rough position. Now we throw down a 3rd TC, and yeah, it's going to be on Jason to figure this build out over the course of this series. Again, Jason failed to deal with this in Game 1, and he's had some time to think about it. He's had some time to ruminate, to go over the events of Game 1, and yeah, we'll see if he can piece it all together here. This is basically like a Protoss playing mech. Like, even more so than just rushing Skytoss, it's just Robo units and Skytoss here. 1 gateway. Remember that, just 1 gateway here for Xing. So he has a very small army, but a very high quality army. And he is slowly establishing this base. And Jason, how does he respond? How does he react? How does he adjust? For now, you know, 3 base saturation is building up his bio army. There is very limited splash. I say limited splash damage. We see a scan confirming carriers and Tempest on the way. But Jason's fully aware of what's going on. We have the Colossi, right? The Colossi, they help deal with the Marines. And Colossi, they have their way with Marines. It's not even close. Outside of going for an all-in, I feel like we missed the timing. The timing for an all-in has come and gone. Xing is becoming more and more fortified. I don't think we can break this position, not anymore, not anytime soon. And Jason going and embracing a longer late game, I feel like is probably his only route and his only option at the moment. See Colossal in the chat. Year supply equals how many days in lights casting done? Oh, a month, papi. But here we go. Jason is now going to be moving out. Has been spotted. Xing is fully aware of the positioning here of Jason. Jason trying to wedge himself in between the natural and the 3rd base. Ooh, is forced to stim. Not ideal. Tanks are doing well for themselves, but a Viking goes down to the Tempest. They can have their way with those tanks. They take down 1, and they're looking for the other. At the same time, Jason, he goes for a drop into the natural base. He's trying to pull Xing apart. He knows that he cannot break this head on, so he avoids the main fight. He gets 10 workers in the natural, and he drops into the main. Can he get more done? There's a lot of pressure, a lot of onus on Jason right now. He gets 5 more workers, 7 more in the main. I don't think he's going to be able to escape either. Oh, he barely will. He boosts away. 18 workers. A good trade for Jason. Definitely a good moment for him. But it wasn't for free. Did lose a lot of Marines. He lost 2 tanks as well. Or he lost 1 tank here in this fight. And a couple of Vikings. And what's scary is that this army is still getting larger. The army is getting larger and larger. We are up to 3 Colossus, 4 Tempest, and 3 Carriers. And this is slowly about to escalate out of control. Jason behind this is throwing down additional starports, which I think is the right call. I think we do need more starports. We need more Vikings. We're already working on ship weapons. Meanwhile, Xing throws down another Stargate. But again, because of all these Colossi, Vikings seem to be the option right now. And thankfully for Jason, there is no Storm. There's no Storm, there's no Archons either. That's really what's missing here for this Protoss army. But to be fair, Xing, he doesn't know about the Viking production that's coming out. He doesn't know that he needs, you know, Storm and Archons to support instead of Colossi. Disruptors on the way. Jason setting up another double drop here towards the right-hand side and a double drop towards the left. Let's go. And again, I do like this from Jason just because I'm pretty sure Xing, he's not really the fastest player. Again, he can maneuver his main army and he can have really good army control, don't get me wrong. But keeping up with drop play, I don't think is the strongest suit. This Marine is going to drag his army over. At the same time, we do get a drop into the 4th base and we will force a cancel. As I said, this army is, I mean, it's strongest together here, you know, as a death ball. And Xing just is having a hard time really splitting up his forces and protecting multiple locations at once. As we do scan a couple of these areas, and here we go, Jason, he sims into the mineral line. And this base is looking very exposed. We don't get too many workers, but we take down the cannons, some pylons. The army is rotating. As we drop into the main, Medevac barely does make it in. At the same time, it looks like Xing has left a couple of carriers in position. Oh, and Jason actually boosts into the natural instead. Again, trying to pull apart his opponent. The overcharge does buy some time for our Protoss. And the drop gets cleaned up. At the same time, drop into the natural isn't getting much done. This is where Jason's becoming a little bit wasteful. Initially, it was good. Initially, he canceled the 4th. He killed workers here. He dropped into the main. But the double drop into the natural was a bit much. And here comes the move out. 8 carriers. Soon to be 10. Soon to be 10 carriers. We have 4 Tempests. Colossus Disruptors. The army is moving out, but oh my god. Already a really rough engage. 1 Tempest does go down. A good start for Jason. But again, he has to be very wary of his ground army. This ground army is so fragile because he's up against Disruptors and Colossus. It's going to be very difficult to actually get on top of this army. 4th base is slowly getting up and running. Jason already on 4 base saturation. Going to be working on a 5th. +3 attack on the way. Ghost as well for EMPs. Which are also going to play a vital role. Jason is the first to max out. Xing not too far behind him. Xing is on almost 180 supply. And I don't know if this can be dealt with. Not right now. Yeah, it's gonna it's gonna be close, Pappy. It's gonna be close. It's gonna come down to essentially the kiting of Jason. Ideally, Jason wants to engage this army as it moves out, so we can pick off like a Tempest, a carrier, as it moves out across the map. If this army makes it to the bases of Jason, I don't think Jason can deal with this. But we'll see. And Jason comes in for a big counterattack, and he will get on top of this Nexus. We'll bring it down. Doesn't get any workers, but does take down a base. At the same time, another hit squad here coming in towards the right-hand side. Again, this is nice, right? Like, Jason, he's doing economic damage. You know, he's crippling the economy. What about the main army? It's coming, Papi. It's coming. Xing, he's doing something that I like to call, he's getting ready to A move. Nexus will go, oh my god, it does go down. Xing down to 2 bases, he's completely all in. It's all or nothing for Xing. But again, this is the army that can A move, you know, this is a this is a death ball. And once it starts rolling, it's difficult to stop. This is why I'm saying that Jason, he needs to try to slow it down as quickly as possible, ahead of time. Good target firing on one disruptor. The Marauders are thrown away. We have Liberators, Marines in production. It's why I kind of want Jason to be a little bit more proactive with his Vikings. And, you know, if he was sharking around here, he could maybe catch a Tempest or maybe catch a Carrier. Here comes the army. We do have a lot of turrets. It looks like Jason, he's ready to receive. He's got turrets, EMPs, tanks, Vikings, Libs. This is where he needs to fight. And if he doesn't, we can get there. We'll get there when we get there. It looks like Xing is going to be bypassing this, and he could just go straight for the natural. Could just go straight for the natural instead. A lot of interceptors are going to be going down. The Vikings, they push on forward, but we have to be very careful. Oof. As we see 2 Vikings go down. I'm afraid we may be making too many Liberators as well. Like Vikings are going to be quite necessary here to deal with this. Oh, they don't quite get the Tempest. At the same time, Jason going for a big counterattack here with his bio army. He will catch another base, this time with workers. Good EMP, no recall. Xing turns around. He turns back around, recalls back home to the natural. But Jason, I don't think he cares about the natural. He's going for the other 4th base. And just pulling Xing apart. Oh, unfortunately, he's going to be leaving some Marines back. They're going to trade as best they can, but they will eventually get cleaned up. No, the ghosts! Oh, this is going to be an expensive loss. A brutal loss here for Jason, losing, what, 3, 4, 5 ghosts? 4 ghosts even. And Xing, he is up heavily in army supply. He has a super maxed army. Here we go, he's pushing in. The boys are being pulled. Tarts are doing what they can. A lot of interceptors are going down. Good splash damage from those Liberators even. And Xing is running out of minerals. He's running out of money. It is meaningful for him to lose interceptors as he's burning through his mineral bank. The Vikings were committing. Oh my god. I'm not too sure about this for Jason. He's going to bleed out a lot of Vikings. Novas will go off. You can see both players plummeting in supply. But again, Jason has an economy. He can rebuild. Xing cannot. You can see him hit 0 minerals. He actually can't rebuild his interceptors. Oh, but the Vikings, once again, they overextend. 3, 4, 5 Vikings go down. Almost every Viking, actually. Uh-oh. Almost every Viking falls. Jason, a little bit too careless there. A little bit too cavalier. We're still making more libs. I'm not too sure about the mass lib, I'll be honest. I mean, he is killing a lot of interceptors. But can he deal with the Tempest? That's what I'm worried about. Can he deal with the carriers themselves as well? As Jason is just focusing on lib production. Meanwhile, you can see here that Xing, he still hasn't remade all his interceptors. He's still working his way through. Another base does get up and running. He can afford it. In the midst of this attack, we have a double drop being set up. Bold move here from Jason once again. He's going for it, Pappy. A lot of interceptors going down. Again, I feel like I need to bring that up just because of the limited economy here from Xing. Double drop making its way across the map. Jason taking another expansion. He is maintaining himself. There we go, back into Vikings. 5 Vikings at a time. This time we do get a carrier. better trade here from Jason. And he was able to buy enough time to allow for the double drop to come in. Now Jason, he doesn't know where the expansion is. He's assuming that he's taking the third base, the triangular third, but no. He's taken another base instead. Yeah, he does scan ahead of time. He does spot the Nexus. He's going for it. He's going for the natural. Oh my god. Forces a recall. Half the army does recall back home. At the same time, the Marines are headed towards some of these fresh bases as well. Xing is out of position. He just recalled as well. He can't recall again. Now, do we go for the fresh base or do we go for the mineral line? That's a tough decision here for Jason. He goes for the fresh base. He will force a cancel. But Xing is about to max again. Oh, as the Marines do get mowed down. Get a couple of workers. It's Jason. He dives in. He's like, go, go, go. Going for the natural, getting an EMP, going for the Nexus itself. Meanwhile, Jason, oh, he's getting caught out. Oh, I don't think we want to fight without the turrets, but he's going for it. He is going for it in the end. The Liberation Zones, they take down a lot of the Stalkers. Some of the Colossus as well. But yeah, Jace, he has to back off. Jason, he has to back off. Again, slow and steady, Poppy. Slow and steady for Jason. As he EMPs, no recall available, and this Nexus will fall as well. The army will not make it back in time. Oof. Solid snipe. The probes did survive. But last we can see Jason re-maxing, rebuilding. And Xing isn't. Xing is stuck at 150 supply. He has just bled out too much over the course of this game. He hasn't lost a lot of his capital ships. You can see here in the units lost, he's lost 2 carriers and 1 Tempest. What he has been losing, though, is interceptors, which has been bleeding into his minerals. 161 interceptors have gone down. Jesus. A couple of Colossi, the Stalkers as well. God, heavily long distance mining. Another Colossus falls. Xing down to 1 mining base. The main is completely mined out. 1 base is all he has left. He's rotating around trying to catch Jason out of position. Looking at the units tab, Jason up to 31 Vikings. That's a lot of Vikings, Fafi. And there aren't any Archons anymore. There were Archons earlier. Honestly, at this point with 31 Vikings, we don't have +3 ship weapons, unfortunately. But regardless, with this many Vikings, I think we can dive. I think at this point, I think we can dive in with the Vikings, with the Libs to support as well. I do believe that we can collapse on this position. No Storm, no Archons. Ghosts are coming in for EMPs. Yeah, I think Jason knows it. He knows, he sees, he scans. He knows he has more than enough Vikings, and here we go. He's gonna go ham on these carriers. They fall one after the other. GG gets called, and Jason takes game number 3, taking a lead in the series. Whew, GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, slow and steady, as in when it comes to the engagements themselves. We saw Jason going for these big backstabs, going for these big drops across the map, just pulling Xing apart. And when it came to Xing attempting to push in, that's where the missile turret, the turret forest, really paid off. Just giving Jason this safe zone where he could set up with Liberators, just buy time, and just not allow Xing to gain any ground. Let's be real here. Winding it back, Xing, I don't think he did any economic damage, actually. There was one moment where where Jason pulled the boys. He pulled workers, and that's when he lost a couple of SCVs. But like Xing, he never got on top of a mineral line. He never killed a CC. He never threatened the bases. He couldn't threaten the bases because of the defensive position of Jason. Jason was able to keep up time and time again, was able to fortify himself and keep up with the movement of Xing. Very well done. Very well done. we go. See in the chat, Betelvas, what league is this? Thought it was Diamond or Plat. Por favor, papi. Respect the players. If you don't, ban. So take care. Take care with how you refer to some of our players here, okay? Take care. As we're getting into this, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hecate, we have our purple Terran player. Oh, taking a lead in this series 2-1. He's a juggernaut. He is Jason. One game away from advancing on here into the closed qualifiers, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. Oh, looking to fight back, looking to force the ace match. It is XingMing. Qualified. Yeah, we're going to be casting Vindicta in a couple of days. There are a couple of players that are already invited into the closed qualifier. It's Vindicta, Patty Mac, Eric, and Dolan. The Ducklings, papi. The ex-Ducklings. Smurge. We don't have them all anymore as patitos, but yes. They are all in the closed qualifier, and we're going to be cheering for all of them, papi, for all of them. I would love to cast all of them as well. I know that's not possible, and it's going to be heartbreaking for me to pick and choose which one of my boys to cast, whether it's Vindicta, Patty, Eric, Dolan. I'll do my best, and hopefully no team kills. Hopefully they don't have to kill each other to make it into the main event. Fingers crossed, papi, fingers crossed. I'll be cheering for all of you. Oh. So we are getting into this, and so far, again, standard openers. Xing going for a gate expand into a cyber core. Likewise, across the map, we have Jason going for a double gas opener instead. Again, we have seen him mix it up over the course of this series, going for either more economic openers or more aggressive ones. This time, going for double gas. And is going for that CC on the high ground as well. So no kind of crazy one base all in or anything like that. Just setting up here. Getting towards that natural. Reaper gets across the map, but is going to be denied by that Adept. He must keep thrusting. Oh. Like a hurricane. Shaking my head. I still can't get over the name of the new Cyclone upgrade. Thrust me like a hurricane. Who came up with that? What's going? I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head. As back at home, Xing is going to be going for a Twilight Council opener, not a Stargate. Interesting choice. We have been seeing a lot of Stargate play out of Xing, but from here in game 4 is going to be going for Blink first instead. Twilight Council into Blink. Love to see it. And this Reaper should be able to spot this ahead of time. Jason, he dips into the main base, does get eyes on the tech, sees it researching, so he's fully aware of Blink that's on the way. And how many gateways are we going to be working with as well? So far, only 2 gateways here from our Protoss player. We'll see if more are thrown down. Yeah, I'm actually not sure. I know Patty is in China. He's in China, Papi. He's in China, but I don't know if he can or can't play. I was looking at Wikipedia and he's listed there. We'll see. As Reaper is going to be hunted down, we throw down additional gateways behind this as well. So it is going to be 4 gate Blink Stalkers, a very aggressive build here from Xing. Going to be moving out with that War Prism, reinforcing it. Oh, Papi. Adept, calm down. Oh my god. There's some infighting going on with the Protoss, papi. But it's so good. Xing, he loses a little bit of shields, and hopefully that doesn't turn around and bite him as Jason is looking to move out and actually meet with this army in the center of the map. Oh my god. Something you don't really get to see too often here. I don't know how I feel about this. Again, there are plenty of stalkers. There will be plenty of stalkers to deal with this army, but Jason is not stopping. He is not slowing down. Ugh. And he's going to bleed out a lot of units in the process. A lot of Marines do fall. At least he's forcing Xing to be more defensive, I guess. But again, we're warping 4 stalkers at a time. We have a massive army. And Jason realizes he backs the hell up. He's like, oh god, what have I done? Again, he didn't see the 3rd and 4th gateway, so I'm sure Jason was just maybe hoping that it was a more economic opener, like 2 gates, blink into a 3rd. But Jason misreading the situation a little bit, and now Jason is on the back foot. He has to race his way back home. No bunker. We do have a tank on the high ground. And on the low ground as well. Whew. Quick setup there from Jason. Good Sim City in the main as well. I'm loving the wall here. With these Raxes with his factory. He is able to siege up. Likewise, Xing going to be looking for another way in. And this tank is looking exposed. He wants it. He will not get it. Oh my god, the prism. Barely doesn't go down. Will escape. Will survive. As Xing is just going to be getting his 3rd base up and running. Additional gateways are on the way. Charge as well. And Xing is just getting, is just going to be containing his opponent here as he works up towards charge. More of a swarm toss style. Going to be delaying any kind of transition into Colossus or any kind of splash damage. Just pure gateway army, stalkers and zealots. And Jason is contained here to these 2 bases. Jason is just going to be building up here towards his 3rd CC. Again, we're calming down, Bobby. We're calming down. And take advantage of this, Xing just going straight for a 4th. He has just a strong enough economy to sustain himself to get into a mass charge out army. Jason, bit in the dark as to what he is up against. But he is going to be going for some drop play. I also appreciate that Xing isn't going into Skytoss again. It was wild what we saw last time. Oh, but the drop is spotted here by Xing. And I don't know if Jason knows that. Oh god, the drops are coming out, but here come the Blink Stalkers, and we're going to get 1. We're going to get just 1. Oh my god. As the other 2 medevacs barely make it into the dead space. Whew. They do make it out in time. But they at least distract the Stalkers. They pull the Stalkers away, and Jason is able to expand, take a 3rd base, and maintain himself. As he's just going to be trying to ferry his units to safety. Reinforcing. There's a lot of potential here with what Jason has, even though Xing does have a larger army supply, bearing in mind that, again, it's mainly a gateway-based army. Jason can attempt to overcome it. As he's setting up on these 3 bases. And he's moving out here on the left-hand side, which he will be spotted by this probe. Scans ahead of time. Spots the 4th base. Xing a bit out of position. He's going to be losing some workers. Probes will go down. We do have a massive minefield as we pick up and drop into the main. Stalkers are waiting, though. And they take down a medevac. Every single medevac should go down. Well, as I say that, good focus firing on the Stalkers. Jason barely does escape, but I mean, I'm just really concerned overall just because of how long has been contained, how late the 3rd base was, and you can see Xing just snowballing a bit out of control. Now working towards his Colossi. 2nd Robo, Bay on the way. Drop is coming in. But we got a lot of work to do. do have a lot of work to do, as the drops are denied. And Xing is about to max out. He's about to max out. Looking to reach critical mass. And when he does eventually move out, Jason just doesn't have that much here to hold on. He's so heavily reliant on these drops here to get damage done and to keep Xing busy. Thanks for getting in position. Drop tries to go in, but Xing is ready for it. He's splitting up his army, Poppy. Let's go. Drop has been spotted as well. Xing, he's just getting eyes on any kind of would-be fourth. As at the same time, Xing tries to go for his own drop. I didn't even have that much free supply left over to go for a warp in, but it does get shut down. Jason, he's slowly catching up in terms of supply as well. I'm surprised. Like, I feel like Xing has been a little bit passive here. Despite his large army, he hasn't really been too active, and as a result, Jason, he's catching up. He gets in, gets a couple of workers, drops into the main. Stalkers are in position, so thankfully Jason doesn't commit. So he does attempt to pull Xing apart. Rotating around, this time moving out with his tanks. And these tanks are going to force a bigger reaction here out of Xing. Reduced him on 4. The Colossus, though, is going to be able to catch these Marines. Caught in an awkward position. The tanks are exposed, and they will go down to the Immortals. Oof. A rough trade for Jason. At the same time, it looks like he does catch a Colossus. Oh my god. Does catch the Colossus on the right-hand side. Drop is going to be forced out. As Jason gets cleaned up here towards the left, loses all of his tanks. Does have plenty of reinforcements on the way, working towards Ghosts, Marauders. But he's been trying to pull Xing apart and has been unsuccessful. You know, despite the successes that he did have in some of the previous games, you can see Xing adapting over time to Jason, keeping up with the tempo of his play, keeping up with his drops. And here we go. Xing should finally push out. I know that a lot of what's in Xing wants him to like turtle up back at home and go to Skytoss, but yeah, he's been stuck at home for quite some time, and the base is finally going to go down. The Colossus! Oh my god. Almost get the Colossus as well. Good juggling though out of Xing. But here we go. This is what Jason has been waiting for. Finally, Xing, he's out of position. Loses the 4th, is going to potentially lose, doesn't lose the 3rd, at least, and Xing, he's had enough. he's done. We're moving out, Papi. Moving out across the map. And what exactly are we pushing into? We lost all the tanks earlier, so don't have as much of a defensive position here. Bearing in mind that Jason does have a lot of his supply across the map. Here we go, Xing is pushing in. Takes down a tank, takes down a tank, pushing into the natural, getting into the mineral line. And Jason, he just cannot engage. Building up his forces, going for a counterattack instead. He could dive on this disruptor. He's going for it. Oh, doesn't quite get it though. As Jason is going to be losing his natural. 20 SCVs go down. Jason getting heavily supply blocked. And here we go. It's all or nothing. We set up a surround. The force fields are good though. Jason having a hard time pushing in the Vikings. They will clean up these Colossi at least. And then we can clean up everything else. Oh my god. He swallows up the army completely, and Xing, he loses everything. He's got a couple of disruptors. He has 2 more Colossi on the way. Now is the time. We gotta go. We gotta go. We're down to 45 workers. We have to commit. We can't turn back. Ah. Oof. As he is going to be trying to push up into disruptors, into these purification novas. There are only 2. First one does get wasted. Oh, he's going for the second. Oh, and he just barely will snipe it. Bold move from Jason. Takes down the Zealots. He doesn't have too much to support here, and he's bleeding out a lot of his bio army. Maybe too much. The rest are coming in from behind. He gets another disruptor. The Colossus have arrived, but we pick up the Vikings. And even though the Colossi are going down, do we have enough to deal with the Stalkers? Oh, I think we do. I think we just barely do. It's going to be close. The Colossus does go down. But we're going to be losing every single Viking. Okay, this is getting close, but Xing is still on a 4 base economy. Jason is only on 3. He's down to 45 workers. And really he's on 2 bases. And it looks like it's still hard to call, Papi. It's going to be Xing's turn to overextend for a moment. Loses a couple of these Stalkers. Colossi being rebuilt. I can feel myself losing it a little bit. I can throughout the course of this series. I need to rest after this. I need to sleep. I think earlier I was like, I often sometimes do mix up player names, especially when I'm tired, but I was mixing up Xing and Jason earlier. I think it was on side Delta. It's like, what's happening? But here we go. Jason picking up his main. Be taking his 4th base as it instead. It still feels on a knife's edge. I still want to give the edge to Xing overall, just because he's still got robo production and he has a decent economy. He's working on a 5th. He's got Colossi again. He's about to have 4 Colossi, and unfortunately Jason, he lost all of his Vikings earlier. He doesn't really have a sure way to deal with 4 Colossi. Not anymore. Outside of a surround, of course. We'll see, Fabi. We'll see if he can. If he can bring it all together. As the play is just going to be slowing down. Again, I still feel like the onus is on Jason to try to get economic damage done and try to equalize. Speaking of, we do have a mine drop, but there are cannons in position. 5 probes. Not bad. Xing going to be rotating over towards the right-hand side. The armies, they do miss each other for a moment. Oh, but Xing, he sees! And there's no turning around. Jason, he's caught out a little bit. Colossi, they swipe away. They take down the medevacs. There's no retreating, not from here. GG gets called, and Xing will take game number 4. We're going all the way to the ace match, to game 5. Let's go. GG, well played. Again, it did feel like Xing was in the driver's seat this time. You know, he was, again, playing quite passively for the majority of this game, just staying at home, just absorbing all these attacks and keeping up with the drop play of Jason, until eventually he was forced to counterattack, and things got a little bit scrappy. Things did get quite scrappy towards the end. Things got very close, but now we are going all the way to game number 5. Oh boy. It all ends on hard lead. The Rhino is on the way. Mate, that critter, it's legit the only critter I go out of my way to kill whenever I ladder. It's so big. It's so I don't know, it feels so intrusive. I feel bad though about it. I feel bad. Leave the rhinos alone. But last, we are finding ourselves in an ace match, the final game of this qualifying match, and have the others wrapped up. This has been a quite a long series. A lot of kind of late game as well. Yeah, we have some qualified players. Yo, Reaper takes down M Canning 3-2. Oh my god, shout out to Reaper, as he is going to be one of the first players to qualify. Foxer versus Riser ongoing. Maples 3-0's Epic. I wasn't quite expecting that. I kind of rate Epic a little bit higher there, but yeah, Maples, he took down Epic 3-0 as well. So this is going to be our final series. This is where it all ends. It all ends here on hard lead. Here we go. It's almost midday. God. It's so late. It's almost midday, Papi. 14 hours. Let's go. We can make it. We can make it. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of hard lead, we have the Canadian Terran player being forced into the ace match here, into game 5. Can he bring it back here and now? It is Jason. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, tying up the series 2-2, forcing the ace match. It is XingMing. It all comes down to this. It all comes down to this final game. And again, I do apologize if I'm becoming a little bit loopy. Yeah. I am looking forward to the sweet embrace of Bedge after this. I started casting last night at 10 PM. It is currently the next day at noon. And I'm going to do the same to later today, I guess. Yeah. Once again, 3 back-to-back broadcasts. The Asia qualifier into the European qualifier into the Americas qualifier. 3 days in a row. This is day 1. This is day 1. And we're gonna have 2 more days of this. I'm ready for it. I mean, I want to say I'm ready for it. I could be coping. I could have lost my mind already. It's possible. Very possible. Let's go. And again, I'm glad that we've made it all the way to game 5. As a fan of the game, as a caster as well, you know, I want to get as much as I can out of these players. These players that I don't really get to cast too often. I mentioned before, the last time I casted Jason was in 2020. So it's been years. And this is my first time casting Xing. Again, very unfamiliar with him. Very unfamiliar with this player, so yeah, it's been a great reintroduction to the both of them. And I've been just really impressed with Jason overall. Very impressive for him to take down Eon. He took down Master as well. You know, not easy opponents. Likewise, Xing to make it all the way to a qualifying match. Despite this, I think, being one of his first qualifiers in general. Yeah, very impressive feats. Very impressive feats all around. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing these players again tomorrow. I mentioned it, but for those wondering, this is the first Open Qualifier, and we have a second Open Qualifier in less than 24 hours. So back to back, they will have another chance, another opportunity to have a deep run and to make it into the closed qualifier where they can face off against players like Vindicta, who's in the chat, against Paddy Mac, Dolan, Eric, and many others. Uko, I believe Uko's in there, and a couple of other players as well. We'll see if we can get there. Until then, for now, first 2 Reapers are going to be making their way across the map. If they run into the Adepts, they won't quite be able to break through. We do have our tech of choice. We do have Xing going for a Stargate opener this time, not a Twilight Council. Going to be going for an Oracle first, which is spotted and confirmed by Jason. He's fully aware of what is coming his way, and he should be preparing back at home. Mentally, physically, Cyclone's on the way. Drop as well. Now the Stargate has scarred me a little bit. Okay, interesting. So we're going for an Oracle first into Phoenixes. And the reason why I say I'm scarred a little bit is because, I mean, I think part of me wants it actually. I kind of want to see Xing rush into Tempest again. Not gonna lie. Let's go. That's the first Oracle. Does get across the map. It's going to be threatening that natural. Oh, Cyclone is in position. Yo, we even go for a boost. We're trying to hunt down that Oracle. 2-1, and we're going to get a bit of extra hull damage, but not much else. As we are going to be continuing Phoenix production, looking for that map control. Going to shut down any kind of drop play. Robo behind this, and is this the beginning of Phoenix Colossus? We haven't really seen that out of Xing yet, but again, it's, you know, meta for a reason. It's solid for a reason. And there it is. There's the bay. Phoenix Colossus. Let's go. The bread and butter of PvT. It's what Terrans love. Smooch. Behind this to get a 1-1 setup. Second Rax is on the way. And Jason will get eyes on the timing of the third CC. Sorry, the third Nexus at least. We'll get eyes on it. As, oh my god, let's go! As we're going for a 2-base all-in, we're pulling the boys. It's all or nothing here for Jason. Let's go. It's not pulling all of them. It's leaving a couple behind here to sustain himself. But the SCVs have been spotted. The tanks have arrived. Bunkers are being thrown down. Phoenixes are not going to help too much against this. And the Marines are here to support those tanks, and this base should go down. We do force a cancel. And Jason isn't done. We're pushing on even further from here. The shield battery falls. The pylon as well. XingMing is losing ground. Hasn't lost too much of his army, though. He has preserved his units. Good job so far. He's rushing into disruptors. He's crazy. Up. Never goes off. Not the best connection. Does get a lot of damage on one of those tanks, but again, Colossus not... Sorry, Disruptor's not Colossus. He's lost his mind, Papi. Ay. Phoenix Disruptor, not Phoenix Colossus. Hey, at least you can say he didn't go Phoenix Colossus, you know? That's what really matters. As the gateway goes down, second Disruptor's on the way. The Nova's about to reset. Takes down a single Marine. Jason, he's getting out of control. The tanks are slowly leapfrogging forward. The Vikings land. And we're going straight for the Robo. Oh, can we get it in time? Up in a couple of seconds. The Disruptor does not come out. One Disruptor is all that Xing has to work with. As he tries to collapse on this position. Picks up the tanks. But the bunkers are going ham. The rest of the army as well, and it looks like Jason has done it. He has broken through. The entire army crumbles. GG gets called, and Jason will qualify for the ESL Masters of Winter, America's closed qualifier. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Jason as he does make it through in the end. My condolences to Xing. My condolences, as he did fight quite hard to make it this far, to make it all the way to the ace match. But alas, he was unable to scout this ahead of time. He wasn't aware of the all-in that was coming. As I say that, actually, wait. Didn't it get revealed? Wasn't there a revelation? Did I imagine that? Did I imagine the revelation on the army? Maybe I did. Regardless, the all-in was coming. We just weren't quite ready for it. Again, going into Disruptors of all things, very high risk, high reward units. As you can imagine, a Nova can kill an army or it can kill nothing. And we saw the Novas were lackluster, killing one Marine at a time. Even if we had Colossi, there's no guarantee that we could hold there, of course, but we would have more consistent damage. I know that there were a couple of Vikings. I think there were 2 or 3 Vikings, but we had Phoenixes to support said Colossus as well. So there would have been more of a back and forth trade there between the armies. And alas, in the end, Xing could not keep up. GG, well played. I believe that may just be the end. GG, exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have a couple of updates coming in, and to quickly go over everything, Maples did take down Epic 3-0. Maples, of course, qualified now for the closed qualifier. Likewise, so did Jason, of course, as we just did cover their series. Reaper took down M Canning 3-2, went all the way to the ace match. Very impressive. I was very tempted to follow Reaper. today, and maybe I'll follow him tomorrow. You know, Reaper has got a soft place in my heart. He's cheesy. He's an animal. And I guess I can't cast him tomorrow, but yeah, maybe in the closed qualifiers, we'll see. As Reaper makes it through as well, and there's one series remaining. It is Foxer versus Riser in a TvP, and I believe that is being casted by Dave Testa. I know Foxer is one of his boys, and Dave should be covering that series, but I'm uncertain. Uncertain as to that. Yeah, okay, he is covering Riser versus Foxer, and they are in game 3. Foxer up 2-0 against Riser. Very solid start here. Very solid start from Foxer. And oh my god, they're nukes. Jesus, oh my god, they're popping off in game 3. The Sky Toss again. Why is there so much Sky Toss today against Terran players? I mean, they are on Radisson Station. Makes sense, makes sense. But with that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thanks so much for your support. Oh, 14 hours of casting. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't 14 hours straight of casting. You know, we had some breaks. We had some downtime in between, you know, in between all of these regions. We had like an hour break or something in between the regionals. But regardless, yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Hope everyone had a great time. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you so much for staying in. You can feel the Terran testosterone here. Let's go. Isn't Jason #1 Terran on NA? Mate, Migs is the #1. What do you mean, Papi? What do you mean? It's Migs. Miguelito. Miguelito. And yeah, with that, we have finally wrapped up all of our series, and we just got an update. Foxer did take down Riser 3-0, which means we are wrapped up. We have all of our qualified players. So congratulations to everyone that made it through today. And again, we're going to be back tomorrow we're back in 10 hours. We're back in 10 hours, which means I have enough time to get 8 hours of sleep and have a shower and get some food and be back to do it all again. So again, in 10 hours, we're going to be live with the second Asia Open Qualifier. Then after that, we're going to be going into the European second Open Qualifier, and then the American second Open Qualifier as well. So if you want some more StarCraft, very stacked weekend, very busy weekend here, especially because after tomorrow, after the second Open Qualifier, straight away, day 3, the closed qualifiers are upon us, and we are going to be covering the Asia closed qualifier, the European one, and the American one as well. So plenty of StarCraft on the horizon, plenty of StarCraft going on. Hope you're a part of it. Hope you're there. Hope you're there to join us as well, to join me in the madness. We'll see how much of my brain is gone by the time the weekend is over, and how much remains. Predictions in the chat. Predictions, Papi, predictions. Yeah, with that, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you so much for your support as well. We are going to be heading off here. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Not too sure who, but we will give another streamer a raid. So give them some love, give them some support, and yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the ending video. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The intro video, and yeah, enjoy the rest of DreamHack Winter, of ESL Masters Winter. See you tomorrow. Hasta luego. Papi, exclamation mark socials in the chat. You can get links to all of our stuff. See you tomorrow.